The air carried the sharp tang of cedar and the faint sweetness of late-blooming asters when I first rolled into Willow Grove Estates. It was mid-October, and the suburban enclave shimmered under a canopy of golden leaves, each house a picture of meticulous care lawns mowed to perfection, hedges sculpted with precision, and porches dressed with pumpkins and woven cornstalks. A sturdy stone sign greeted me at the entrance. Saw welcome to Willow Grove Estates, a sanctuary of harmony saw. I'd just taken a new role as the regional director of maternal crisis response, a job that demanded I orchestrate life VY-ing interventions for high-risk pregnancies across a sprawling district. After years of urban chaos, I craved the quiet rhythm of a tight-knit community morning coffee on the porch, friendly nods from neighbors, a place to recharge from the relentless adrenaline of my work. But beneath Willow Grove's polished veneer, something simmered. I didn't know it then, but I was about to collide with a force of nature named Marjorie, HOA woman the neighborhood secretly dubbed the Overseer. I'd barely unpacked the first box when she materialized in my driveway, her silver-blonde bob gleaming in the afternoon sun, her pressed khakis and teal polo shirt emblazoned with the Willow Grove HOA logo screaming authority. She clutched a clipboard like a shield, her hazel eyes scanning me with the intensity of a hawk sizing up prey. "Good afternoon," she said, her voice clipped, her smile a thin, practiced crescent that never touched her gaze. "I'm Marjorie Henshaw, VYC president of the Willow Grove Estates Homeowners Association. Most folks just call me Marge." Her handshake was firm, perfunctory. "We take pride in our standards here. I assume you've re-VYEU'd the HOA handbook." I nodded, though the thick binder sat unopened on my kitchen island, buried under MOVY-ing debris. "I've skimmed it," I lied, forcing a smile. "Very detailed." Her lips twitched upward, but her eyes narrowed on the bike rack strapped to my Jeep. "Glad to hear it. We keep things orderly. Just a heads-up, external vehicle attachments aren't permitted overnight. You want to address that." She jotted something on her clipboard, then strode off without another word, Leah VYing me blinking in her wake. Odd, I thought, but harmless enough. I had no idea that Marjorie's welcome was the opening shot in a war. I didn't sign up for a war that would soon pit her rigid rules against the lives I was sworn to protect. My job wasn't something I advertised. As the regional director of maternal crisis response, I oversaw a fleet of specialized Vans Maternal Rapid Response Units, or MRRE equipped with neonatal incubators, obstetric tools, and advanced monitors. These weren't your standard ambulances. They were lifelines for mothers facing preterm labor, preeclampsia, or sudden hemorrhages. We stationed them strategically across the region, including a few near my new home in Willow Grove, since the nearest hospital's OB unit was a good 25 minutes away. The neighborhood had quietly agreed to a pilot program. If a resident needed urgent transport, especially in high-risk cases, our vans would be ready. I kept it low-key, partly to avoid a barrage of medical questions from neighbors, but mostly to dodge the HOA's bureaucratic tentacles. I should have known peace was a fantasy. The first cracks appeared a month later. Notices sprouted on mailboxes and lampposts like weeds. So, reminder, per HOA bylaws, no commercial or specialty vehicles may be parked overnight on residential property. Violators face a $250 fine per occurrence. M. Henshaw, vice president, saw the wording, nod at me. Our vans weren't commercial. They were state-funded, registered as emergency vehicles, but their sleek, unmarked bodies and occasional rooftop beacons didn't exactly blend into Willow Grove's cookie-cutter aesthetic. I suspected Marjorie had her sights locked on them. Confirmation came via Lena Carter, a neighbor 6 months pregnant with her third child. She cornered me one crisp morning as I watered my newly planted marigolds. "Marjorie stopped by yesterday," Lena said, her voice trembling, her hand resting protectively on her swollen belly. She demanded to know who owned that oversized medic van near the cul-de-sac. Said it's an eyesore, and the engine noise during calls is disruptive. Lena's hazel eyes welled up. What if I need it? My last delivery was a nightmare placental abruption. I almost didn't make it. I squeezed her arm, my chest tightening. That's why it's here, Lena. We won't let anything happen to you or the baby. I promise. But as she shuffled back to her house, I felt a storm brewing. Marjorie's obsession with curb appeal could choke a Sarah VYC designed to save lives. I decided it was time to face the HOA head-on. The next meeting unfolded in the community center, a squat building with cedar paneling and flickering fluorescent lights. Rows of folding chairs faced a table where the board sat. Greg, the soft-spoken president, Clara, the meticulous secretary, Tom, the landscaping guru, and Marjorie, perched like a queen with her clipboard. After mundane update pickup schedules, a proposed gazebo repair, Marjorie rose, her posture rigid. We've had reports of unauthorized vehicles loitering overnight, she announced, her gaze flicking toward me. Some bare medical markings. This violates our bylaws. I stood, keeping my tone even. Those are emergency maternal transport vans, part of a state health program. They're here for residents like Lena Carter, who's high risk. We park them minimally and only when on standby. Marjorie's lips pursed. Rules are rules. No specialty vehicles overnight. They clutter our streets and tarnish our image. I couldn't hide my incredulity. These vans save lives. Surely that trumps aesthetics. Her cheeks flushed, but she doubled down. The board doesn't bend for personal sob stories. Greg, visibly uncomfortable, interjected, "Let's pause this. We'll re-VYEW the program's details and reconvene." Marjorie shot him a withering look but relented, her silence more menacing than her words. I left the meeting uneasy, sensing she'd only sharpen her claws. For a week, things quieted. I bonded with neighbors Lena, who invited me to her baby shower. Tom, who shared his wife's miscarriage story over a beer. Single mom Ellie, who juggled 2 jobs and a toddler. Their lives fueled my resolve. But Marjorie's shadow loomed. Rumors swirled that she'd contacted towing firms, her golf cart a constant patrol unit. Then, one muggy April evening, the storm broke. My phone jolted me awake at 11 p.m. It was Sarah Nguyen, a neighbor 8 months pregnant with twins. "Ellie, I'm bleeding," she gasped. "Contractions too early." I bolted upright, adrenaline surging. "Hang tight, Sarah. I'm sending the team." I dispatched an MRRU, grabbed my keys, and raced to her house. But when I arrived, chaos greeted me. The van's usual spot near the community pool was empty. Sarah's husband, Mike, met me at the door wild-eyed. "Dispatch said the van's gone. They're rerouting one from downtown 40 minutes out." Sarah writhed on the couch, her breath shallow, blood staining her leggings. I knelt beside her, coaching her through the panic, my mind racing. 40 minutes could be fatal with twins and hemorrhage. I dialed dispatch again, barking, "Where's our unit?" The answer hit like a punch. "Towed 2 hours ago. Private company. No details." Marjorie. Rage clawed at me, but I shoved it down. Sarah needed me. The backup van screeched up 38 agonizing minutes later. Paramedics stabilized her en route, and surgeons at the hospital delivered her twins via emergency C-section, both premature, but alive. Sarah served ved barely. Exhausted, I stayed until dawn, then drove home, fury simmering. I had to find that van. A neighbor, Mrs. Patel, caught me inspecting the empty parking spot later that day. "I saw it," she whispered, glancing around. "Last night, a tow truck hauled it off. Marjorie was there, directing them. Said it was abandoned." My blood ran cold. This wasn't just meddling, it was sabotage. I called the towing company, but they stonewalled me, citing client confidentiality. Fine. If Marjorie wanted war, she'd get it. I shed my anonymity at an emergency HOA meeting 3 days later. The room buzzed with tension as I faced the board. "I'm Ellie Morgan, Regional Director of Maternal Crisis Response." I began, voice steady. "Last night, Sarah Nguyen nearly died because an emergency van was towed without authorization. That van was here legally, under state mandate, to protect mothers like her." Marjorie scoffed. "Your title doesn't override our rules, MS. Morgan, that van was a blight. It's an emergency vehicle." I snapped, holding up permits. You were warned repeatedly. Your stunt delayed critical care. Sarah's twins almost didn't make it. Greg paled. Marjorie, you acted alone? She bristled. I enforced the bylaws. It's my duty. Clara, flipping through notes, shook her head. We agreed to pause enforcement pending re-VYEW. This was reckless. Marjorie's defiance cracked, but she clung to it. No one's above the rules. I handed Greg the permits. These prove our vans are exempt. Reverse this now, or face legal consequences. Marjorie stormed out, her clipboard clattering to the floor. The room exhaled, but she didn't stop. Days later, flyers blanketed the neighborhood. Saw a vote to ban unauthorized vehicles, restore our peace. Saw she painted the vans as invaders, sirens as assaults on property values. Most residents recoiled. Sarah's story had spread, but a few grumbled about hospital zones. I escalated, filing complaints with the county and rallying my organization's legal team. Then, disaster struck again. At 3 a.m., dispatch called, code red, Willow Grove. Jenna Price, 22, preeclampsia, seizing. I scrambled, deploying a van parked just outside the neighborhood of precaution after Sarah's ordeal. Jenna's tiny rental glowed with ambulance lights when I arrived. She was unconscious, her VY towels crashing. The team worked furiously, stabilizing her for the 30-minute ride. She served VY VED an emergency delivery, her baby clinging to life in the NICU. No tow trucks this time, but Marjorie's shadow lingered. She doubled down, pushing her ban at a packed special meeting. Reporters, health officials, even a state senator watched as she ranted about chaos. I countered, these vans are mandated. They've saved Sarah, Jenna, and others. A state health rep shut her down. HOAs can't block emergencies, Sarah, VYCS. It's illegal. A prosecutor added, towing that van? We're charging you endangerment, false reporting. The vote collapsed. Marjorie's allies shrank. Her final Gambita petition flopped. The DA filed charges, reckless endangerment, fraud for lying to the tow company. Video, EVY Denkane nailed her. The HOA cut ties, issuing apologies. Marjorie's trial was a spectacle. Testimonies from Sarah and Jenna broke the room. Guilty. 18 months in jail. Her house seized for damages. Willow Grove exhaled. Months later, the neighborhood bloomed anew. No more clipboard tyranny. Sarah's twins thrived. Jenna's son grew stronger. The HOA erected a sign. Saw maternal transport parking. Saw VY ing lives daily saw. I walked home one evening. The cedar scent thick. Neighbors wa VY ing. Marjorie's reign had scarred us, but it forged something better, a community that valued life over lawns. My phone buzzed a routine call, but for now, I savored the quiet, grateful for the fight we'd won. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.